there's a young lady who lives in a schoolie, and her name is just Dorit. Now, she tells the truth about what it's like to own a schoolie. And we all know how I like people that tell the truth. So stick around. What is up, blind viewers? How's everybody doing today? Alrighty. That's right. This young lady, just Dorit. Now, I've been following her for a while. I enjoy her channel. I think she is a hoot. That's right. She has her little schoolie, and she shares her adventures with us. Now, over the years, I've spoken to a couple people about schoolies because I had questions. One, I had questions about the door. I mean, come on, the door. I mean, how easy is it to get in those doors, and other things about schoolies, you know, because they're fleet vehicles and all kinds of things. So I had questions. And over the years, I talked to different people, and everybody, of course, whenever they're doing something, well, it's the greatest thing. And hey, I get it. It's like having your own your favorite football team. You know, it's no, my team's the best. Even though they won one game this season, they're still the best, or my team, they're whatever. And when you ask the schoolies about the door or other issues, you know, the ditch hatches on the top and people get it. Well, if people want to get in, they're going to get in. So whatever. And it's no different from your house. You have windows, and if people want to get in, they're going to get in. So yeah, in other words, they just skate around it and don't address it at all. And just, again, this is what I'm doing. So, of course, it is the best thing on the planet, and everybody should be doing it. And whoever isn't doing it is a dumbass. Well, just Dorit, she's not like that. Well, the first reason I follow her is because she's just fun. She's zany. She's wacky. She's out there doing it, and she's having a good time.
Uncle Ian, I'm so excited. Tofu, how excited are you? Here we go, kids. Here we go. It's a beachy though. Beachy. I'm also drinking Doreen's coffee. I hope she doesn't mind. Lord help these people.
I'll say it once and I will say it again. Okay? Meeting people from the internet, one of my new favorite things. These people, these beautiful, beautiful people in a shuttle bus. Like, we've been following each other, we've been messaging each other occasionally, and then, wha-bam! Invite me out to the middle of the forest, possibly to murder me. Here's looking at you, Miss Mary Lou.
So there you go. She's fun. She's wacky. She's zany. She's just a girl having fun in her school bus. I think she's awesome. But yeah, I've been following her for a while now. But one of the main reasons I enjoy her is because she's honest. She just doesn't float around and tell everybody how great it is. This is the most wonderful, joyous thing since sliced bread. Without this, my life would be filled with stress and the vigors of real world living. But no, nay, I am in a schoolie. I'm out here on the road doing it, so therefore I am stress free. You know, everything's cheap. It's an easy life. I can go wherever I want and I can do whatever I want. No. She tells us the truth.
As you all know by now, my bus got problems. A lot of them, all the time. And through these problems, I've made friends who also have problems with their buses all the time. One of my favorite bus problem twins is Crowned in Style. It was a no contest. I was just like, I'm coming to California.
Now, Dorit, she tells us that, you know, she's upset because everybody does do the I don't want to say fake stuff, but the fake stuff, you know. She tells everybody, I mean, everybody says how wonderful it is, and you know, these buses are old. They're not brand new. They're old buses. They have miles on them. They've been through it, and things go awry. And she says about her bus having issues and that she's guilty of this stuff too. But what it all comes down to is that, she refuses to participate in selling of my mistakes to someone who doesn't know better ever again. I'll let you pause that and read it if you will. But yeah, that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. She's tired of everybody saying, oh, buses, they're wonderful. They're carefree. Hey, this is the thing. Come on, folks. I mean, if it can haul a whole bunch of people all around and a bunch of school kids and do whatever, hey, come on. It can haul all your junk. No problem. Pack it full of shit and just go. Well, she tells us all about it. That, no. It's not that way. It's not that way. Shit breaks. And here she talks about, she went on a trip. She thought it was going to be all hunky-dory, and no. Bootsy, that's her bus. It's broken, not internally, but her home is unsafe. She talks about leaks and mold. Oh, there it says there's mold, baby, and water damage. The mold extends the length of the dinette under my electrical cabinet and my sink. The water damage can be seen popping my floorboards up all over and making my plywood palace flake apart. Fixing these issues would result in a total demo and rebuild, not to mention having to redo unsafe electrical connections that are unreachably current. I've decided to rebuild. Back to her previous statement of, no, I'm not going to pass this off to someone else and say, hey, it's a school bus. I built it out. It's wonderful. Have at it. It's got many, many, many miles and years to go. No, she says, I'm not going to do that to people. I bought this school bus, whether it was because everybody else talked me into it and said how wonderful they were, or whether it was my decision. I did this, and I'm not going to just pawn it off on someone else. So, let's talk about school buses for a moment, because again, I talk to these people and I have these questions, and they skirt around it because it's their life, so it's awesome, it's great. But let's talk about school buses or other buses in general, just for a moment, shall we? So, what happens to buses after their useful life is over? That's right. Their life expectancy is about 12 years. Now, it says they don't disintegrate after that time, but, the answer is that old transit and school buses are often sold at an auction and sometimes sold through dealerships. Since there are about 480,000 school buses, so you're going to get a school bus because there's more of them than transit buses. But here, why are they priced at, when you get a new one, $300,000 to $600,000 for a new one? And then they're sold from what? Between $5 and $15,000? That's a hell of a depreciation, isn't it? Yeah. Used highway buses are much more expensive. Yeah, the highway buses. And here, I find this interesting. One reason why used buses are so cheap is that they may not meet government regulations. So that's interesting in itself right there. So, hey. And here it says about the maintenance. While the price might be low and, you thinking you're getting this good deal, yeah, you have to remember that you're not going to take this to your guy down the street or your local dealer and go, hey, fix my bus. It's going to take a specialty mechanic and a specialty shop that has a bay big enough for you to pull into, has the tools and everything else to work on these engines and everything else that needs to be worked on. Not to mention, we have the age of these things. Are you going to be able to get parts and the like? Well, let's look into this a bit more. Now, some of these buses are purchased, there you go, to people who intend to outfit them in a way to an RV or motorhome. That's right. That's what we're talking about here, right? So they're retrofitted. It's probably cheaper than buying an RV, of course. However, before purchasing a bus, you must obtain a commercial driver's license, which is not true. I mean, I don't know what you have to go through to jump through hoops. If you go to, I don't know, say, someone that has a fleet, are they going to require you? But if you're using it for personal use, such as to outfit it as an RV or something like that, you do not need a special license, commercial license, CDL, whatever you want to speak of it. But yeah, you don't need that. Only if you're going to be a bus driver. But yeah, and it says again, you should also think about your local regulations. So where can you park this thing? If it's yours now, until you get it built out, and then after you live in it, where can you park this thing? Can you park it along the streets? Some places may let you, but other places, and most places inside cities and things, or even just outside cities, may not let you. And it says next, you should know that your bus will only get 2 to 3 miles per gallon. In the RV, they say 6 to 14. And finally, expect to pay a lot more to maintain your bus than you would service your vehicle. Right. We all know that. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about these things that have been, now they ain't been through it, but depending on what part of the country this thing was in, say from around here, up in the Northeast, it goes through all the seasons. So this thing is, we'll just say a school bus. So it's a school bus. Every day, 5 days a week, it goes, does its route and picks up kids. And it bounces down through the streets and it does its thing and it goes around and it's out in the blistering heat and, in the summer. Kids don't go to school in the summer. Yeah, but the way that the seasons roll around, they get all 4 seasons, trust me. It's hot, it's sunny, and if it's just sitting outside on the all season, it's baking in the sun. Things are getting faded. And then you have the snow, you have the salt and the cinders and all that stuff. So these things are going around through all kinds of conditions. And they're also used to transport the team, the band, cheerleaders, whatever. If they're going to a game or an away game, you have these things transporting all these kids. But that's what you have. Now they are good because, again, they're built for cruising along the highway. So they're not going to go 90. And they're built to hold a whole bunch of people. So they do have a nice weight capacity and a strong engine and suspension and all that good stuff. However, a lot of school districts, they don't have a whole lot of money, do they? No, they do not. So they hold on to these things as long as they can until maybe it might be, yes, they don't pass the government regulations anymore, but they can't go out and buy new ones. So sometimes the school district might get rid of their fleet and go buy some used ones that aren't as old as theirs that they can still use. But yeah, these things are held onto by some municipalities for quite some time. And then when their time is up, like an old horse or they're put out to pasture. And we all know RVing, life on the road. I want to be a nomad. Quit your job, sell your house, sell everything, move into your bus, and go hit the road. And it's more and more and more popular. So getting a hold of a bus is pretty hard because people are snapping them up. But now you have an old vehicle. Yeah, it's not, 10 years. These things are 12, 15, 20 years old when people get them. And then they start building on them, and it might take them a good part of maybe a year to get it all built out. Who knows? But these things are old. And, not everybody, glances over everything. Some people do have some issues, and they do share that on the YouTubes, like Lever Wild.
Something in the steering wheel column broke, and so they had to remove the steering wheel column. It is a part that they no longer manufacture, and you basically can't find it anywhere. So you have to either find it in a junkyard, find someone who has the part that'll be willing to sell it to you, which is not an easy feat in itself. So Robert and I were discussing my options, and basically we found a guy who can repair it. So we're shipping it out to this guy. He's gonna fix it, ship it back, and hopefully that works. I'm praying to God that it does. And then once the steering wheel column is fixed and situated, we will be able to turn the car on, or turn the bus on. And from there, we will go and figure out why it's running the way that it is. Like I mentioned in the past, there seemed to be a leak. That leak stopped leaking, so I'm assuming that whatever it was is empty. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything.
So there you go. She's dealing with it. It's an old vehicle. They don't make the part anymore. How do we get a part? We got to find somebody that will manufacture one, or go to a junkyard and cross your fingers and hope but she said it's hard, it's difficult, and she's having some other issues with the way the engine's running and all kinds of things. So these are some of the things you have to be aware of when you're talking about these old Skoolies that you're getting. You're not getting a brand new one for, well, unless you went out and spent $600,000 on one. But yeah, so when you're thinking about these old school buses, you got to think about some of this stuff that as things go on and time progresses, we don't make buses like that anymore. We don't even use that part anymore. Now it's there's a computer chip that does that, so you have to think about these things, and nobody tells you that. But these young ladies are filling you in. Now there are others, but right there's just examples of people that are having issues. Well, let's not stop there. Let me give you one more example of how all this stuff, it isn't so free, cheap, or easy.
So you guys might remember from a few weeks ago that we have a leak coming from our fuel pump. A couple of mechanics have told us that it's fine to drive on, so we've just been doing that, and we were on our way with the part in hand, driving to a diesel mechanic who agreed to replace it. We had an appointment. We are a 3-minute drive away, and the bus broke down. Again, we are spending the night in the service bay at a mechanic shop. I'm just really frustrated because we've been here for like 9 hours at this point. This was supposed to be a couple hour thing. This was going to be our last night in Texas. We were going to go keep moving. We had like an adventure planned for tomorrow, and this just completely derails all of our plans. I'm mostly just like super worried about the bus. Like, if they break it.
I know. The whole reason we wanted to take it to professionals was because we weren't confident enough to do it with our own abilities. And during the research we did, they said 2 bad things could happen. Is 1, you could break the little tip off at the bottom of the fuel pump, and 2, you could drop the plunger or tap it into the engine. And these guys did both of those things.
I have an awful gut-wrenching feeling about this because they spent 4 days with 2 people constantly working on this problem where it really should have been a 2 or 3 hour thing.
At the end of the 4 days, we had racked up a ton of shop hours. We were able to talk them down a little bit, but this was still over $1,000 for a fuel pump replacement.
There you go. Over $1,000 for a simple fuel pump replacement. And you heard. That was Jimmy&Natalie, by the way. But you heard. You're free. You're free to roam and go wherever you... Oh, no, you're stuck. Where? In a shop for 4 days. Plans ruined. Scratch what you had planned. And just think if you had one of those reservations that you waited for a year to make at some campsite because they're all booked up, and you waited and you booked 8 months or a year in advance, and now you're sitting in a shop for 4 days. For what? Oh, to do a simple fuel pump repair. That's supposed to take a couple hours. 4 days later, you're still there. Oh, it's so freeing. So freeing. It's pretty cheap. Oh, that's right. Over $1,000 to put in a part. Just $1,000 for one little part. Pretty free, pretty cheap so far. Easy. That's right. You heard her. Stressed, concerned, worried were the words she used. So the free, cheap, and easy life doesn't sound like it's so free and cheap and easy to me all the time. Now, I'm not saying it's bad life or you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, hey, you know, just like Dorit said, she's pretty upset that, or not upset, but concerned that people don't actually say, look, there are issues. We have issues. These are old vehicles. We have issues. Stop telling everybody how glamorous and how wonderful this is. Tell people the truth. And you know, I adore people like that. I want to hear people be honest on here. That's all. So I want you to leave me a comment below, please. Now, would you rather hear someone just show us everything, how wonderful it is, and just show us the beautiful views? And once they get to their destination, go, ta-da, look how awesome this is. And not show us anything else, just show us all the good times? Or would you like to see the oh shit moments where this broke down? We wanted to be here. We're supposed to be there. We have an appointment there in 3 days. And look, here we are, day 4, still stuck here because of this shit happened. And then once you get there, go, ta-da, see how beautiful it is. Leave me a comment below. Tell me, what do you prefer to see? The real life stuff or the it's all just glamorous? Now, I know there's going to be tons of people out there. I had a school bus for 48 years and I never had a problem. One damn problem. It's still the same one. And rah, 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 rah. I know how it goes. I've been doing this long enough. I know I'm going to hear it. Everything is wonderful. Everything is rainbows and sunshine. And I never go to these RV parks. That's bullshit. I boondock in the desert and I do this and I don't have any of those problems. I know. But there's a whole bunch of different kinds of people in the world. Just think how boring it would be if we were all the same. This would be a very, very boring ass existence. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. And, go over and check out Dorit and the other folks I'm talking about. There will be links below. And so what do you think? Is it really so free, cheap, and easy? Or is it just like everything else in life? It's life. And none of it is easy. I don't know. Hey, but you know how we do here? You don't have to agree with me. That is never the point.
This is Blind Views. And that's the way I see it.
What we do here is go back.